Hey guys, welcome back to more AFK Arena. In today's video, we are checking out a visual guide on the 9 furniture picks for AFK Arena done by Raku Day. Now, shout out to Nito on Discord for sending this over to me as well. But this one is his first guide, or her first guide. I'm not too sure. It is their first guide they're making for the game. So just keep that in mind. Come over, show your support, any suggestions. My one suggestion would be to make the text, I don't know, more bunched and like lower. I'm not too sure. Maybe like have them side to side. It just gets a bit hard to read. But besides that, some really good information in here. Now, before we get into it as well, take this all with a grain of salt. If you're not building something, you don't want to do the furniture. If you have fun building something else, always go for it. It's a game about fun most prominently, but this might give you a good idea on some things that you might want to build and throw in there. None of these are really a surprise to me, so let's just go in and start covering them. So the first one is Grizzle. Okay, so here is Grizzle's furniture. Basically with Grizzle, you really want to go all into 9. If you're not going to 9, don't bother with Grizzle. He needs his 9 pretty much. So the value at level 3, the value of Grizzle's shadow shield is increased by 150%. Shield explodes when the ability ends if it has not already been destroyed. Now the 9 of 9, and with this way you really want it, is skeleton warriors summoned as a result of any ability shall enjoy the shield effects of the ability shadow shield. So with this, it basically means that you're going to get all those explosions. So Grizzle is fantastic, and that's why he really shines now, because he can ramp up, and I think Ulna really helps him with this because he is very squishy. But once you get the skeletons provide two purposes. Not only are they a distraction to help him survive, but also when they are now getting the shields and those shields explode, they're also dealing ramping damage. He can steal stats, so as the battle goes on, he gets stronger, he gets more skeletons, which means he gets more distractions, which means he gets more damage. It's just a big snowball, basically. You can basically just call Grizzle a snowball. He's very similar to something like Isold in that sense. Something like, even a little bit like Hodgkin. Hodgkin has a similar effect, but he's nowhere near as good. But Grizzle, like, that is his big strong point. And over here in the guide, it does say that the downside of Grizzle is sometimes takes the time to build his skeleton army. Prepare him with CC heavy teams or with an Ulna. And he's a DPS machine. Yeah, so pretty much that's the downside. But yeah, with his furniture, you definitely want to take that to 9, and that's what makes him incredibly strong in this one. So moving on from that, we just talked about her, and that is going to be Ulna. Ulna is a no-brainer one. She requires that 9 furniture to work. She really doesn't work without it, because without it, she isn't going to protect her allies. So let's jump in and take a quick look at Ulna, and let's have a look over here. Where is she? Where's she at? Oh yeah, the top one, obviously. So if we go down here to the inn, here we go. So when placed in the front line, damage dealt by other frontline ally causes enemy targets to lose 30 haste points for 5 seconds. This ability cannot be stacked. Like, it's okay, but the 3 is not what you're using Ulna for. The 9, when placed in the front line, the effects of the ability Winter's Call also take effect on the other frontline ally. This is the huge thing. This is like, if Ulna didn't have this, she really wouldn't be that strong. She'd be like another Brutus substitute. Like, you know, just get that, you know, something to put in front of something to protect it. But because she can protect her frontline ally with invincibility as well, it makes her an absolute menace. One of the top characters in the game by far. Due to this, she can enable so many things, but I think the main one she enables most of the time at the moment in the end game is going to be that Grizzle. But just an amazing furniture. If you are building Ulna, it's definitely worth it. If you're not building Ulna, if it's an alt account, if it's an account where you just don't want to build her, you obviously don't go for her furniture. But if you are building her, you have to go all in on this one. Next up, we are looking at Irons. Now, this guy obviously is a beast. He's sort of falling off. Like, he's still one of the top carries in the game, but like at the lower end, from what I've been talking to Artie and guys like that who are really pushing the limits, but still an absolute savage due to just the raw damage he can put out with his ultimate, but also this ability with his 9 furniture, allowing him to use the goal of all, that's what it's called? battlefield. The effect of the ability, the goal of all life is death, will take effect 15 seconds into the battle instead of 24, I believe it is, at the start, which is huge. You'll notice, like, you spend the time trying to, like, get everything to survive so that you can get to that stage, and if you've got to wait like an extra, 9 seconds, you're often going to fail. So 9 is really required in the early game. You know, if you've taken up a mercenary irons and you're using that from the garrison feature, and you know you're in the early game, you don't have his furniture yet, it's not going to kill you. You can still get wins, but once you get really pushing, the 9 furniture is just an absolute must for this guy, and it's just a huge ability, stunning all enemies, dealing that massive damage. It does have a scaling cap, but what is it? It's like 55% with the new thingamabob, isn't it? Yeah, 55% of their health. Now obviously that is capped by his attack, but still it's always going to be nice damage. And next up, we're looking at Merlin. Now, this guy, I think he's fantastic even without full investment. He's one of those ones, he gets a lot better, especially at 9 furniture, but he's still very usable. Earlier on in the game, if you haven't got there, you know, you're obviously limited on how many furnitures you can get. He's still fantastic, but dude, the 9 furniture on this guy is savage. He can immediately use the ability Destiny Foreseen when he enters the battlefield. That's giving the whole team that extra, what is it, like 30% mitigation or whatever it is, 35% mitigation, which is huge being able to do that. But the nice little tip that gets put in here is also if you place him correctly, because obviously he's got the ability when the enemy opposite him ultimates, you get the shield. So if you can like play around with the formations, get it so that you like run this damage decrease, the damage mitigation is the word I was looking for. I couldn't find the word. But if you run this damage mitigation into the enemy ulting to get a shield, he's just an absolute mitigation beast from that sense. And that 9 furniture, like the 9 furniture, I feel like enables him to be used in more offensive type teams, or it just allows him to be used in more purposes, because he can offer that early mitigation, like a pseudo owner type thing for your whole team. Obviously not invincible, but a good mitigation nonetheless. So allows your team to ramp up and get things happening. Next up, we have Lucretia. Now, I have one account where she's 9 furniture, one account where I'm still trying to get her to 9 furniture, and dude, the 9 furniture on this one makes a huge difference. When Lucretia has used her ultimate ability a combined number of 2 times, which she does really quick, the flame effects of the ability Hellfire are strengthened, and the flames shall no longer disappear. Enemies that are damaged by the flames will be unable to use their ultimate abilities for a short duration. And now this is why, and I still think the best comp for her is a 5 pull, because it gets all the enemies grouped up. She sits on top of them, uses 2 ults, they ain't gonna ult back. Now this is incredibly useful against a lot of things in campaign. The example given here is that the Thorin, I find it in earliest campaign stages, like I find that often on my account that I don't have her on 9 furniture, I can get timed out by things like a Lucius, because I can't bust through the shield unless I kill the Lucius at the start of the battle. If it's a 1v1, we always get timed out. So having that 9 furniture to block ultimates is actually a really huge effect. Plus it's Lucretia, she's main carry, she's a one woman team, so you want to have as many stats on her. So on top of just the effects of the 9 furniture, all the stats that you get leading up to that are also going to help her as well do the job better. So any investment into Lucretia, in my opinion, is a good one, because I feel like you can't overinvest into her, because she's the only one that you really need heavy investment in the team to make it work. So that is Lucretia. Next up, we have Zafrael. Now this one I'm really excited about, because I am building him on one of my accounts and thoroughly enjoying the dude. So more prominently, they do state here that he's more prominently a PvP, but I really think he's got more I've been playing around with him a bit on Kiasma's account, getting myself excited, but I think he's definitely getting more viable in PvE as well. But when we take a look at it, when an enemy, and the 3 to 9 is a huge difference. Getting an extra 1.5 second on that stun is huge. So when an enemy deals damage to Zafrael, they are stunned for 2 seconds. Stunned enemies cannot be stunned again for 8 seconds. This ability shall still stun its target even if the damage was completely mitigated by the enemy. So if they dodge, if they shield it, they still do get that stun. So with this, I'm pretty sure that I did a quick test. I think the the stun, the cooldown, it's like they get stunned for 2 seconds, and then once it ends, the 8 seconds starts. I could be wrong, so you might only have a 6 second cooldown, like a 6 second duration where they can't be stunned. But I'm pretty sure the 8 second cooldown starts from when the stun ends. Don't 100% quote me on that. But if it is like that, that's still like a 20% uptime of this stun for things that are hitting him, which is really, really strong. And just I'm just a big fan of Zafrael because I'm building him, so don't take my hype as a thing, but it's a really nice added effect to him when you consider the fact that he is a lunging unit. He's going to lunge in there, get in the thick of things, and if they're going to attack him, they're going to get stunned, which means his shield's going to last longer, which means that he's got longer to survive, longer to use his signature item to deal that extra damage, and then he can teleport out and then teleport back in and rinse and repeat and do it all again. Just great control, and it doesn't only offer control, but it offers him prolonged damage capabilities, which I really love. Now we have Odin. Now Odin, I'm just loving seeing the rise in usage of Odin. I loved him since he first came into the game. I played him on an early game account. I'm like, how can this guy not be top tier? He did get a little buff, and then that's where he's really started to take away. And the 9 furniture, I think the reason the Odin gets this placement is just because he's such a strong hero in general as well, but his furniture really does help. The extra void lightning is huge. So the 3 furniture on Odin is huge as well. Like, enemies struck by the ability void lightning have their energy recovery reduced by 80% for the following 5 seconds. And then while alive, Odin passively uses the ability void lightning every 8 seconds to attack the enemy with the current highest energy. So they have the highest energy. It's going to be reducing their energy, but when we go ahead and read the void lightning ability, we see here recovers an additional 50 energy points for every enemy struck. So it's giving him, not only are we getting the effect that after he opens his eyes, if we can get this ability to open up, when he opens his second eyes have been open, the ability void lightning will additionally target the enemy that is currently standing farthest away from him. So he now has 3 void lightnings that he's doing, which are all going to be giving him extra energy every time an enemy is struck, and it just makes him an absolute energy generation beast. On top of that, when we consider that, because he's going to be generating energy, we're going to be opening those eyes faster, which means we're going to be getting, everything to happen a lot faster. So during battle, Odin gains 1 fiend point for his Eye of Evil ability for every energy point taken away from his enemies as well. So that, I know it doesn't take away, but when he gains energy, he gets it. So if we go over here and we go back to his skills and we check this one, yoink. After Odin's, where is it? There it is. Odin accumulates 1 Fiend Eye for every energy point he gains. So that ties into that, which is going to get him to his ult faster because he's using extra Void Lightnings, which means he's going to recover extra energy, which is going to use his ult faster, which is then also, due to his signature item, going to mean that he's going to drain more energy, which means he's going to open his last eye faster. It's just all so quick with Odin, and I really love his furniture. I'm just a big fan of Odin in general because I've loved him from the start, but that is Odin. Next up, we have Sylas. For me, Sylas really depends. The 9 furniture only allows the same ability to be used on ranged heroes. So they do state here, the 9/9 is still very strong in some events like Abyssal Expedition and Hunting Fields, and even in the recent Island of Solitude, where you have to have him if you want to compete for the top ranking. That's why I thought it was still worthy of a high priority. For most players, if that's not your priority, I wouldn't have Sylas on a 9 furniture priority, unless you are using a unique team where he focuses on injecting a ranged ally. I just don't think it's really worth it for the majority of players. I still think it's fantastic if you do use it, but I think for a lot of people, don't just look at this and go, okay, Sylas has to be on there for 9 furniture, because when we look at it, using the ability Injected Fury on a nearby melee ally additionally increases their normal attack damage and normal attack frequency by 30%. So if you're really, if you're not fussed on trying to inject a ranged ally to get these effects and stuff like that, then 9 of 9 really isn't required. But like I said, if you do get use out of it, it's nice. But for me, my staple with him would normally be sitting around 3, with the 9 not as important. Obviously, I did put that disclaimer, but just to let you guys know, and I feel like normally you're going to be injecting melees with him anyway, because they're going to be the ones taking the damage earlier. I know there'll be certain situations where it's not the case, but 3 is normally a safe place unless you have a specific use for him, like he said, like the Abyssal Expedition and stuff like that. And the final hero on the list is the Nomura, and they start this off by saying one of the most, maybe the most underrated pick of the list. I agree. I feel like Nomura's 9 furniture is completely underrated. I absolutely love it. Whenever I'm on Kiasma's account, I think I did it in the last video I did on Kiasma's account, where I just chucked the Nomura like with bad gear. Like I think Kiasma's Nomura has horrible gear. Wait, let's check. Yeah. So like I chucked the Nomura in with bad gear just so I could get that instant mind control. It's so nice. But yeah, the first time an enemy gets close to Nomura, she activates the effects of her Beguile ability against all nearby enemies. So it's like I remember when this first got introduced, I'm like, wait, so we're gonna be able to like chicken ear on with Nomura and do it against all of them? I've never really seen it do more than one enemy. When it says all enemies, I don't know how to make that happen, but the main reason I just use Nomura as 9 furniture is I chuck her in the front row, and you just instantly mind control them. So something like Screg runs in, he turns around. I'm pretty sure it works on Screg. He turns around and knocks up his the enemy. Like, you know, you turn a Titus around, they run back. It's just so nice to just play some like clutch plays on putting her in the front row and just making them go screw their own team. Then she dies, then you let the rest of your team do their thing. But I love a front row tech Nomura with 9 furniture. I think it's absolutely fantastic, and definitely think she is one of the most underrated ones on the list. And like I think it's just because I find it fun. That kind of thing I find incredibly fun. I'm just a weirdo like that. But hey, Nomura is the final one on the list. Once again, big shout out to Raku Dave for making this guide, the first guide. Make sure you go over, show some support, but keep in mind, guys, like I said, there's things like, you know, chicken 3 furniture. This is a 9 furniture pick. Chicken at 3 is a staple on every furniture wish list for me. Screg's another one if you're interested in, like, I love the invade type play, even though it's not a top team. I'm always putting Screg on my wish list. I want to get him to 9 because 3's the base for Screg for me, but 9's not bad. But yeah, there's those sort of things, and if there's any other characters that you just really like and you want to get their furniture, it's about having fun, so just do it. But anyway, guys, that is going to be it for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Cheers.